Unscripted.
Unshackled.
Uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for mature audiences only.
It's Miguel Fuller.
Holly O'Connor.
And Scotty the Body.
It's the Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast.
Only on Hot 101.5.
Hello, we are here.
Yeah, we are.
In your ears, or if you are on YouTube, you can always watch Miguel and Holly Uncensored on the Miguel and Holly YouTube channel. Before we get into everything, I wanted to read a couple of reviews that we received on the Miguel and Holly Apple podcast.
Oh.
Where you can always leave a review.
Yes, please.
This is from Proud Platypus Posse member.
Hey, a P.
M. The subject line is obsessed with this podcast.
Oh.
Since moving to Tampa, this morning show was always my favorite. Since discovering the podcast, I've been obsessed. The podcast quickly became my favorite, not only because it made me laugh, but because of how authentic and vulnerable Scotty, Holly, and Miguel are in each edition.
Oh.
It truly feels like you are sitting in a room with the three of them, and it is like magic. I've laughed, cried, and expanded my view of life listening to this podcast. Thank you for putting this content out there.
Wow. Thank you.
I love that.
And then another one from Sarah. She says, Miguel, Holly, and Scott take time out of their day to deliver quality content to make the day more laugh-filled. I look forward to listening to the episodes that come out while at work. Love their honest opinions and creative stories they talk about.
Nice.
So thank you. You can always leave a review on the Miguel and Holly Apple podcast platform or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Why?
I don't know. I just felt you've been weird today.
I don't know. I
What's
think I
going
got
on?
sent down a little rabbit hole. Nothing happened. I know she's going to listen to this, but I got a text from my girlfriend earlier that I didn't leave her lunch in the fridge. And I felt bad. And so I kind of screwed her over for her lunch plans, but I didn't realize it because we made a meal together yesterday. And this morning, as I'm getting everything together, we only had one Tupperware thing. And I was like, she's probably not going to notice. She's probably going to go to work because she goes to lunch with her friends every day. Let me go ahead and take the entire thing. No biggie. And then as we're in the middle of the show, I got a text. It's like, ... Did you take the food? Or did you leave me any? And I was like, fuck me, man. No, I didn't. I didn't even think you would look. And I don't know what it was. I'm still trying. I guess talking now is going to make me feel better. But it sent me on this whole little tunnel. And again, I don't think this is the root of anything. This is just what I noticed today that kind of got me either upset or feeling guilty. And I was like, damn it. I feel bad. I felt like we communicated it. But I just, you can't do anything about it now. So I Venmoed her for lunch. And I was like, here, I got it over here. I'll bring it over later for you. You could have the rest of it tomorrow. But that was kind of a little bit of what happened during today.
First off, before we get into it, I fucking knew it. I knew it. I didn't know the moment, but because this morning you were like, do, like you normally are. I was like, oh God, Scott's in a good mood. Here we go. And then I don't remember what happened, but there was something on the air where normally, because, when we do this show, I never know what your reaction or Holly's reaction is going to be to something. But I genuinely have a clue after being around each other for so long.
Yeah.
I kind of know how y'all are going to react to something I say or a joke that I put out there. And there was something Holly and I were laughing at. And I looked over at Scott and he was like,
oh, no.
I hate that, though.
Deadpan. And I was like,
I fucking hate that
I was
about
that's something he would have laughed at or reacted to. Something's going on. But listen, hey.
I know.
You're a human.
I know.
You're not a
that
machine.
part about me.
You're a human.
I feel like we've had this exact same conversation with both of us in various times. You're not a machine, but I want to be.
Right.
Sometimes I do, though. Sometimes I don't want to be distracted. I don't like my high to be taken down, and it got taken down, and I was like, damn it. And again, she's going to listen to this. I don't want her to blame herself. It wasn't that. I don't think that is the root. I still have to discover, what the root of everything on my emotions is happening. But that was today, I was like, fuck. And I don't know if it was toward her or toward me, but I just felt guilty.
I think, and Holly, you can take a stab at this.
All right.
You are a person that loves to make people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start the show, I'm normally not very talkative until we literally we turn the mics on, and then I'll come alive. Before that, I'm just bitch, fuck everybody. I'm trying to get the show together.
We can't even tell you funny stories and shit beforehand.
No,
just
don't. No.
This is Miguel. Got his AirPods in, and then and when I'm like, hey, and then he like looks up, he's like, like, you're bothering me, but I'll stop what I'm doing. And then like nothing, I know, and tell me if you feel this way, Scott. Like I know whatever it is I'm about to say is in no way good enough for having bothered him.
No, it's never good enough.
Until
the show starts.
Then I try to make it a better story if it is. And I'm like, it was only going to be like, I saw a weird groundhog this weekend. And I'm like, I saw an elephant and a groundhog
And they were flying
and a
with each other.
pterodactyl. And Miguel's like, And I'm like,
Okay.
fuck.
Well, it's just like, because until the show starts, it's like my mind is just trying to put all the puzzle pieces together and make sure we got everything. And then as soon as we start, I'm like, hey. But like usually, because Scott is always like, this is going to be a great show, everyone. We're going to do great. We're going to make everybody laugh. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like, start the show. And so this morning you were like that. And so I was like, you love making other people feel good. And so when you feel like you've let someone down, you're always really hard on yourself.
Yeah, I do think that's part of it. Yes.
Right. That's why in the time that you've been working with us, I've never yelled at you. I've never been like, you fucked up something, because I know that there is nothing worse that I could say to you than what you've already said to yourself.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I did think that was kind of part of it today, because the only thing that kept going through my head is like, damn it, I do so many things that are like good and I nail it and I nail it and I nail it. And then as soon as I let one down, I'm like, fuck, but that's the one that gets noticed. Damn it, that I didn't leave food in the fridge.
Also,
fuck me.
I don't think she did it to be like, fuck you. I think she was just like, I thought maybe we talked about this or whatever. And like, it's not like you were malicious.
I know.
You need to realize, like Miguel said, you're not a robot. Like, that's one of those like stupid things that it's like, is it kind of annoying in that moment if you're her? Yeah. But I'm trying to put myself in her shoes too. Am I going to be like, well, we should break up? No. Like, it's not like you were sabotaging her lunch. You were not like purposely being like, ha, bitch ain't gonna eat today. Like, you're okay. I promise.
It's just that little thing though. It's like, you know how you focus on the negative a little more. And then for me, I'm like, damn it. Now this is what she's going to think. She's going to be like, dang, he doesn't consider like my part of the lunch. I'm like, no, I do. This morning I went through it like probably like 20 minutes. I was like, she's probably not going to look. I don't have another Tupperware. If I just take it, it'd probably be no big deal. Like I literally went through the whole thing in my head. And of course, she looked. I was like, God, dog it. Like I thought you would forget about it.
Nope, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
But you know, that's like in a relationship, there are so many little give and takes that you have to do. And that you just realize that that's just like who people are. And it's not like Holly said, it's not a malicious thing. It's not a bad thing. Like this weekend when I was in Buffalo and Abe, I had to try to fix myself because he was supposed to book a hotel room for us for both nights we were there. And I knew when we talked about it, I should have just gone ahead and did it. But it was like a Buffalo Bills game. And like, even when I was at the airport on Friday in Tampa, like people that are from Buffalo were already like going for, even if they're not going to the game, they're just in the city.
Yeah.
They're just there. And so like every place he called Thursday night, it was all booked.
Yeah.
And so then Friday when I got there, he was like, so we're just going to go to a hotel and we're just going to see. And I knew that he knew because remember, we had done the show Friday. I'd been up since 3, rushed over to the airport, got there. I was tired, just wanted to like relax for a minute. And then I knew when I got in, he was all like lovey-dovey.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, if you're not in the mood, like any other time, why can't they be lovey-dovey? It's when they know that you could be pissed about something and you maybe are, but not outwardly, and you don't feel like it from them right then.
And
you're
like,
like,
just like,
and they're like, I love you so much. And they'll like, even maybe they'll kiss your head. And you're just like, you're like, any other fucking time you could do this. But like, I don't feel like it being like this right now.
Right. And so like, we went to this hotel and he was like, do y'all have any nights open? And they were like, let me take a look and see.
Like the
thing, we got nothing.
Right. And then she was like, clackety clack. And then like, I could just feel myself getting like more annoyed because I was like tired. But then I was trying because I knew he felt horrible about it. And so I was just like, I'm fine, calm, just breathe, it's fine. And then she was like, well, we have one for tonight. it's, and she said a price that I was like, what the fuck?
You're like, you must be outside of your God blessed mind if you think I'm gonna stay at this hotel for
Right.
that.
And she was like, well, we have one night, but you're gonna have to call the front desk Saturday morning and see if you could get an extension, probably, but it'll just be for Friday night. And Abe was like, is that okay? And I was like, it's fine.
You're like,
It's
sure.
It's fine. So I was like, you know what? Because we were going to like drop our stuff off and then go do the rest of the day. But I knew in order to fix myself and to not make him feel bad, I need to take a shower. I need to like just be a brand new person. And it was fine. But I knew that there is nothing that was malicious about it. I just know that because of his business, he has to have so many details with his painting business in his head that something like a hotel room, like that's the last thing on his list. I just know that about him. And so I should have just done it. And so that's why I was like, I'm not going to make him feel bad. But it's just one of those things, once you get to know each other, you and your girlfriend, like those sort of situations won't affect you so much. But because you're still new, you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Yeah, it's just, I guess.
Do you think she's truly pissed off?
No, I don't think she's pissed off at all. Like, I know I'm going to get a text later today after she listens.
Cool,
Like, I wasn't mad at all. And she sent me a nice message, but I'm too stubborn right now to even reply. So we had a show. So by the time she listens, she will have a reply. But I wanted to check myself because I noticed I was replying out of like annoyance. And I don't know if it was toward her or toward myself. And so like I literally, like whenever these things happen, and this is the tough thing about, you know, like going on to do another show after this is like, okay, I want to like take like a little 20-minute nap, close my eyes, get in another space, come back and be refreshed. But I don't have that time. So all that happens, and luckily we're talking about it. So it kind of steams out. But all that happens is it just kind of rolls and rolls and it just kind of slowly gets hotter and hotter. And I'm like, all right, Scott, you're in a whole different dimension than this whole problem. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm allowing myself to just kind of like get away from that situation. I'll come back to it. I'll reply. It'll be all good. But it was just stupid. It's honestly like a stupid situation.
Wait, so she said that like, oh, where's the lunch? And then what did you say back to that?
I think I just said like, I meant to take like I texted her what I told you all already. I was like, I knew you were gonna say this. I was like, I knew it would be the time when I actually take everything that you don't like that you decide to look. And so I was like, we only had one Tupperware, so I decided to take the whole thing. Like, I'll Venmo you for lunch, and so I Venmoed her, and then I was like, I'll bring back the rest of the stuff later today. So you could have it for tomorrow.
You said
she didn't ask for the Venmo. She also didn't ask for the food back. Like at this point,
I just felt her annoyance, and it was hard. It was.
But it's not about you as a human, and I can see how this domino effect is happening, and it's all based on like our childhood issues and shit. But it's like you didn't have to do all that. Like I know you want to show her that you're sorry and that you feel bad. But she also didn't ask for the Venmo, and she didn't ask. Like at that point, I would just be like, just eat the food. You already have it.
Right. Do you think it made it worse, Holly, that he Venmo'd?
I'd better have not have made it worse. Like that's that kind of stuff. Like that'll get me annoyed at her. That if you get annoyed, because that's just me trying to be nice. You can't be annoyed at me giving you a Venmo. I'm giving you lunch.
You're doing too much.
It's not too much. I'm saying sorry. I didn't realize that it was gonna stop her from like having food at the office instead of like going out to lunch.
But I'm sure it wasn't that big of a deal.
I know, but this is what's going through my head. This is the loop. I'm like, all right, she probably planned it out. Maybe she's trying to save some money. Maybe she's not trying to go out with friends. But in my other head, I'm like, she always goes out to lunch with friends. She'd probably bring it and still go out to lunch with friends and bring it home and never eat it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just take the whole thing. And if she, you know what? I'll get her lunch covered for today and do something sweet as like a sorry. Like I didn't realize like you wanted some of it. Because yesterday, oh God, now we're going into the thick of it. Yesterday, as we're eating it,
good, girl.
No, yesterday as we're eating it, she said, "Oh, okay, good. Like it's serving for 4. You have lunch for tomorrow." That was the quote. You have lunch for tomorrow. Instead, I should have taken it as we have lunch for tomorrow. Instead, I literally took it as you, Scott, have lunch for tomorrow. I was like,
oh, that's. She did say that. That's what she said.
Yeah, I know. But then today in the text messages, I was like, she kind of was like, well, yeah, and that's why I said like we have lunch for tomorrow. And I was like, damn it, I didn't know. We were on 2 different paths. And also, again, didn't have Tupperware to give her any. Because I would have this morning. I would have given half. But she took the whole thing with the thought that maybe she didn't want it today.
So is
wanted
this
to-
just like a total communication breakdown?
This is a communication failure.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not being specific about things?
Not being specific. Yeah.
Then it's really just there's no one to blame.
There is
It's
no one to blame.
just-
I'm just annoyed that it happened and there's nothing you could do. Like in my head this morning, I'm like, maybe I could tell her to come over, or maybe I could leave immediately after the show, bring it to her office, drop it off. I was like, no, like I'm not, and that's why I Venmo, because I was like, look, you're probably gonna go out with your friends anyway. Let me get your lunch covered. I got you. Okay, so all back to that. Like if you would get annoyed at that, like that'd be weird, right? Like it's not too much. It's just
I
like
don't think she would be annoyed by that, like the Venmo, but I think you this
get my therapist
is
back on the-
so yes, because this is so much more than just the lunch. This is
Mhm.
how you handle like conflict.
yes.
And like based on like, okay, so I'm just gonna put in my example because I don't know and I don't want to like guess on how it may have been for you growing up. But like for me, for example, when there was something that happened and I knew my mom was gonna get mad, I immediately had to go on the offensive and try to make it better and manage her emotions. As a kid, it was my job, and this is not a child's job. And I'm still trying to work on this because it's very difficult to unravel. As a child, it's not your job to manage your parents' emotions. But for a lot of people, that's what happens. Either consciously or subconsciously, your parent signals to you that they are not okay and you need to make it better. Again, subconsciously or consciously, it can go this way. And so for me, I always was like, I don't feel safe when my mom is angry because it's scary. She's a scary, mad person. So, and like she never even did. I don't even know what I thought would happen, but
Yeah.
all I knew is that there were very wild and crazy emotions. And if I could do anything to fix it, I was going to. So like immediately I turn into people pleaser or don't, make someone feel better mode. So if there's some conflict going on, I'm going to do anything I can to try to make it better for the other person, right? Like I'm going to go out of my way. Like, let's think about how my mom acted when my brother came into town. She's like, I'll give up my bedroom. Bitch, no one is asking for that. Okay. No one said that, but she's like, let me do something that I can make this so much better and that you'll love me more, please. So that's how it is for me. I'm not even going to pretend to know what it's like to be you, but like the fact that you not only are considering driving it over to her, you've Venmo'd her. You're going to bring it back. You're not going to eat the whole thing. You have like melted down in this day. It's actually not about the lunch. It's about conflict, management, resolution. And those feelings are so uncomfortable for you that you are going to do anything to not feel those feelings right now.
Yeah, I guess it definitely has a root of like, I don't want to be looked at as considered like I didn't consider like what you were going through. Like, I don't want to be looked at like I didn't put effort because I did. And so when that happened this morning, immediately I was like, oh my God, you think I didn't consider anything? I did.
Look how much I'm considering you.
I have considered the entire everything about your being. I even thought about your molecules being hungry.
And I've taken action on them just to show you how considerate I
I'll
am.
massage your molecules later tonight if you want me to, just to make sure you feel
would
better.
I'm
massage
going to
some
make a
molecules.
whole new meal for tomorrow that you can have for the rest of the week.
Well, I didn't
Now,
think about that. But
Do you think, Scott, that's something that your parents did when you were growing up, either consciously or unconsciously? Like, is that something that they talked to you about maybe being selfish or not being selfish or anything? Is there anything that you can think of what Holly was saying?
nothing specifically. Like, obviously, I never liked it with like my parents got upset. But I think what I learned growing up is, and I do this now, like I always have an answer for like a problem. Like I always will have an answer immediately. Like if something goes wrong, even like here on the show, like I always have like, well, I did this because of this. Like I'm very quick to like snap back and be like defend myself and offer a solution immediately. It'd be like, well, this happened because of this. It's never like, well, I don't know. I always have something to like at least offer some kind of resolution, some kind of solution. I don't know what that stems from. I think it was just, I didn't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. And so there's always something that's like, at least there.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the reason
something.
I did.
It's hidden from you right now.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
hidden
know.
from you right now. That's why therapy is good. But like,
Yeah.
it's difficult to figure this out. It's so difficult. But there is something there. Like you can see around it. It's like a black hole in your memory.
Right.
Like you don't know what instance or what repetitive instance of something that happened during childhood, but like
something.
you're aware at least, and this is a big step, that there's something there where you don't want to be seen as inconsiderate. You don't want to not have an answer. You want to be good enough, and we just don't know what, and you don't know what either. And that's
No.
what therapy is so tricky sometimes, because you're like, why can't I just see? But your brain has done a really good job of blocking that off to
Yeah.
keep you safe and to keep you feeling well. And that's just how it works.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because I had to figure that out in my mid to late 20s, especially when I started hosting the show on my own, because I realized that I would always get really, really defensive when someone would correct me on something, when it came to radio or just life in general. And like,
Mhm.
it's always this like hot feeling I get in the pit of my stomach, and it rises up. And when they're like, well, that really wasn't right, or you said that wrong, or you didn't, I'd be like, I'm sorry. Tell me what degree you fucking got that makes sure that, or I would just shut down completely.
Yeah.
And then I had to like realize that, oh, it's because I was in special ed growing up, and I always felt like I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough. And so in my mind and in my emotions, I make the assumption that if you're correcting me or if you are trying to help me, you're assuming that I'm dumb and that I
Mhm.
don't know how to do it, and that I'm not capable of doing it.
Like, basically, whatever someone has a critique or a criticism or whatever, you don't even almost hear it. You
Right.
just hear, Miguel, you're kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's exactly what goes through my mind. Even when you said that, like I just felt that flash across my body. And that takes me right back to elementary, middle school, when I'd be in math class and it'd be like, hey, Miguel, what's 5 times 8? And I'd be like, and then you could just feel like everybody look, oh, I'm feeling it now. Like just everybody in the class being like, how do you fucking not know that, you stupid idiot? And so all those feelings come about just from that one little thing.
Yeah.
And so it took me time to realize that. And then I don't remember what it was, but it was something when we were in Panama City with Mandy Holly doing the second stint.
Yeah.
When I realized that, like, hey, it's not possible for me to know everything, and that I need to just say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing.
Ask a question.
I need help. And it opened me up. But there are still times, especially like with Abe, where he's usually right about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And usually I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right. But then it's like the little things where I'll like feel that hot flash when we'll be like driving somewhere and he'll be like, well, why did you take that route instead of that? Literally, there's no tone, there's no accusation. And there have been times where I've snapped and I'm like, what do you think I know how to fucking drive? Why don't you just fucking drive? And he's like,
All right.
just ask. We can go your route. We can go your route every day of your life. You could create the map. I don't care. Like, I was just asking.
But it's so hard. And Scott, like, you're 24.
Mhm.
The fact that you're even aware that this is even a conversation
That's
is
huge.
leaps and bounds ahead of most people that are 24. Because did you think I knew any of this at 24? I was just blindly reacting to shit and being like, this is my life and this is how I am, because I
Mhm.
didn't know any of this. So the fact that you even know it is great. And I feel bad that we've like picked apart this whole lunch debacle,
No,
but
it's okay. I don't want her, like, that's the one thing I also didn't want to bring up with her is like, I don't want her to change, like, or I have to tiptoe around situations like this where it's like, you
No,
can
she
text me.
wouldn't.
no, she won't.
I
Yeah.
know,
I don't
but
think
I
she
can
would.
see her like, you know, like, oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't text Scott like that. Like, you did nothing wrong. Like, it just,
Right.
it's everything I just have internally. And again, like I said earlier, it, like, and as we just discussed, like, that was not the root. I think there's other things happening in my life right now that's just like, I think life is just kind of on eggshells right now. And I'm like,
Tough.
something's going to break. And
life
the
is
next,
tough.
yeah, it's, things are weird. So it might have just sent me down a little tunnel. And it happens occasionally. And I hate it when it happens. And then I get like pissed off in the show when it's happening because I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I need like these next couple hours, like I need all of me,
But
Scott
like,
to
it's
show up.
very difficult to keep your mental focus on fun and laughing if something pops its head from your personal life in during the show.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or maybe you're carrying a little something from the night before and you think it's gone, but then like it just pops out and says hi during the
Hey.
show. And then you're like, no, gosh, damn it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm just trying to focus on Doja Cat's fucking dress. And here I am thinking about like my issue with my significant other or like my mom or my kid. And like, it's mentally like a war trying to pull your brain back onto the
Yes.
fun, happy, because who really gives a fuck about Doja Cat's dress?
Right.
But that's her job. And it's so hard. So I get it.
And also, just to reframe it, think of this as like a really cool moment that you two are growing and learning each other together. Like, you're going to look back at the situation and you're going to laugh and be like, remember when we both had a meltdown over a fucking leftover lunch? Like, not even like, ooh, we went to Burns and it was like this expensive steak that we were going to share. But it was a homemade lunch. But outside, like coming from the situation, you two have learned so much about each other. And then you'll go home tonight and you'll have a conversation about it and you'll hash it out some more. And it'll be a private thing between the two of you.
Yeah.
But it'll be a beautiful thing because you two have communicated and you've grown together. And it's
Yeah.
obviously it's hard to see that right now because you're still in it. But it's going to be great, you know, a week or two from now once you're able to have that hindsight and look back on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for her, it's gonna be. She's probably gonna hear this and be like, "Oh my god, this was not even a thing." Like,
But that's the thing.
but in my head, as I read it, I was like, "She's annoyed. She's annoyed."
But see, that's
She's
good
annoyed.
for her to know this. And again, you're putting yourself in her shoes by thinking that she's never gonna like text you again or whatever. Stop assuming what you're gonna do. This is the perfect, like my partner and I, when we've had like for some reason, I remember a lot of blowout fights, not fights, but like disagreements that would end in the Fresh Kitchen parking lot. I don't even know why, but whatever. There were at least 3 of them, maybe 4 issues where it was like a little issue, nothing big, nothing drawn out, where it was like something and I was feeling some type of way. And then he can tell. So he's like, can you just please let me know if it's me or not? Because his thing is, are you upset at me or can I somehow help with this? And if it is him, I'm just like, it's whatever. It's nothing. Because I don't want to tell him because I don't want to make him mad. And then he's trying to not make me mad. We're just trying to both like tiptoe around it. And then finally I just break out loose with it. I'm like, I don't even know. And then he's like, well, that's just great. And I'm like, and now you're reacting this way. But like, we get through it. We get through those emotions. And then he's like, okay, hold on. What you're saying is this. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, is that what you're saying? He's like, yes, I'm saying this. I'm saying this, not this. This. Does that work? I'm like, you think it does? And like, it's awkward. It's awkward to climb out of the mire when you're in it and you feel strongly one way and they feel strongly another way, even if it's not like a big deal, like a lunch. But getting like when you both calm down enough a little bit to be like, we both being a little bit stupid right now. Or like, do you have a valid point and I'm the one that's being stupid right now? Yes. I'm really bad at that. Yes. Okay, let's hug it out. Okay. We don't even be embarrassed.
We're good.
Don't even be embarrassed about this because we've grown. Now we know more. We know more. And next time this isn't going to happen because we know how to react now to this little challenge in life. Cool. Okay, well, I'm going to take a minute and be awkward, and then we're fine, and you move on with life.
That's the beauty of life is learning because it's not always the fun stuff. It's those are the moments that, I mean, there are so many fun moments I've had with my fiance that I couldn't even like remember or tell you about, but it's those pivotal moments where we're arguing over something. Just to pull out one more example is when we were looking at houses a couple years ago, and the house we were looking at had cheaply made drawers or something. And as a Southerner, and what I was always taught, like Holly, as a people pleaser, that no matter what the issue is, you're still like the real estate agent. I was like, these are beautiful drawers. And Abe was like, I'm sorry, but these are cheaply made. This is garbage. And I was like, I was speechless. I was like,
I would be mortified for myself, and the woman or who the man.
And just to be clear, I don't think he said garbage. I don't think he would ever use that word.
But the tone,
but just the tone of like,
basically just said this is shit.
Right, and then as he was like looking at stuff around the house, and he kept making comments, and I was like, oh my god, this woman thinks that we are just the worst of the worst. And so then we left, and then I was like quiet in the car, and then he was just like, well, do you want to go look at another house? And I was like, no. He was like, well, do you want to go to lunch? And I was like, no. And then finally, he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, that was so rude. And he was like, well, it's the truth. Like, why would I lie and try to make her feel good?
Which is a valid point.
Right.
It's not his job to make the realtor feel good.
Right. And he was like, she didn't build the house. Like, it's not like she was on her hands and knees, like flipping the house.
the
like,
cabinets.
Right. She just tried to, and I'm like, but still.
But
like,
for me, I'm like, but what if her feelings got hurt?
Right? I was like, what? She's trying to sell. She can't change the house. The house is the house.
It's her fault.
Right.
I get it. Oh my God, do I get that?
Right. And so we went back and forth, but it was this beautiful moment where we realized that, like, I love that about him is Abe is never going to lie to your face. He's always going to tell you the truth. He's never going to sugarcoat it because he thinks he wants to make you feel better. Whereas I'm the people pleaser and I'm always going to be like, well, let me just make sure you're nice, even though I don't feel that way. And so now he knows that we're in the moment, like as we've been doing some stuff, making decisions for like the wedding and other stuff. If he can hear it in my voice where I'm like, well, I don't know. He's like, what do you really think? This is your time to be honest. We're spending a lot of money on this. So speak your piece. And so we learned so much from that really, really awkward moment in the car where I was almost like, bitch, I want to see you for the rest of the day. Like,
I know.
I'm just so embarrassed right now.
Wait, I have a really good. Let me just share this because I'll let you have my time. Please, then I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up after this. You know how we went to that Gideon's Bake House in Orlando just the other week?
Oh yeah.
And it's it's expensive, not crazy, but they have like a very specific product, whatever. It took an hour to wait in line. It's like this whole to-do. And we had obviously planned out what we were going to get. We had 4 cookies that we were going to get and 2 coffees. And I get up to the lady and I'm like, okay, I'm so nervous. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. First time. And I'm like, I want a chocolate chip. I wanted this, and this, and this, and 2 coffees. And she was like, oh, you really should try this pistachio toffee that we have, though, if you like the chocolate chip. And I was like, you know what? We don't really like pistachio, which is kind of a lie because I don't mind it. But I'm like, I knew we didn't want that. And I'm like, I don't really want pistachio. And she was like, I would really consider it, though. And so I and my person saw what was unfolding.
Oh, yeah.
As she goes, I really think you should try the pistachio, though. Can I just? And I was like, well, and he like leaned in. He's like, we don't want it. No, thank you so much. You know what? We're all set. And she looks at me and then she looks at him and she's like, okay, I just really wanted to make sure. And he was like, we went out the thing and he's like, I could tell that if she said one more word, you were buying that cookie and you know we don't want toffee. I'm like, I know. And I was like, I couldn't say no anymore. And he's like, I know, because we had a similar thing where I'm like, I can't tell. Like, they're going to get upset. And we've had that like over insurance and all other kind of stuff. So he swooped in and he was just like, no. We don't want, and he was like nice about it, as nice as one can, but I can't even say no nicely that many times. Like, if you ask me something 3 times and I've already had to tell you no twice, I will just say yes.
That's what makes you a salesperson's dream.
Yeah.
Because all they got to do is upsell you in 3 different price or 3 different points in the conversation.
I know.
You're like, yes, I'll pay an extra $500 for a toffee.
I know. And I don't
I'll
want
buy
the
the
damn
store.
thing. I don't want it. I told you no, please take no. And so luckily he swooped in, said no. I didn't have to buy the toffee. All right. I just wanted to share that story because it just reminded me and made me laugh. Go ahead, Scott.
No, that's it. That's good. I feel better. I do feel better when I talk about
I
things.
think that this is obviously like a big deal for you right now because it's like all you can think about. It's in your head. It's in your heart. It's tough. You feel it in your body, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But like Miguel said, I think that it's going to be a growth point. It's going to be a growth point because this is something that you can, like Miguel said, laugh about eventually. It's not. We're not laughing about it right now.
Not right now. Not right now.
Right
She
now.
probably is. And I'm again, like, it's not a big deal to her. I guarantee it. I don't know. Again, it just struck me weird this morning when I saw it. I was like, God bless it, son of a bitch.
I know.
Son of a biscuit.
Son of a biscuit. Yeah, but it's okay. It'll be solved. And again, we'll probably
but you have
discuss
to.
it later.
And the thing is, though, she could probably. I'm sure she's going to reassure you, and she's going to go through the whole thing. But until like you're okay with what you did, that's what's going to be the big turning point.
Yeah, I guess it's just, it's always wanting to seem like I'm considering other people's feelings. It's what I don't want to be selfish. And I felt like today was like a very selfish look. And I was like, it made me feel gross. I did not like that whole thought of like, she left the house thinking, damn, he only thought of himself. And I was like,
But she probably didn't even think that.
Or maybe she did. I'm kidding.
No.
Sorry, I had to.
She hates you, basically. She don't even know.
She's
I'm
never gonna
actually
text back.
ready to break up.
Yeah,
Like, she's
biding
like,
her
yeah,
time.
go fuck off.
You haven't even
stupid
texted back.
writing a
Like,
letter.
Said
that's
her
probably
piece of
like
shit.
fucking other girls. Jesus.
The lunch is good though.
Oh, I love it. This is why I love the podcast. Literally, I had nothing planned, and then we just had this whole like psychological breakdown of Scott, Holly, and myself's personalities based off of a leftover bowl.
By the way, what the fuck was the lunch? lunch?
It was really good. It was just like a Hello Fresh meal. It was like this quinoa bowl with chicken and peppers and this good sauce on it. So good, delicious. Definitely deserves to have a bowl of it. So I'll bring it over to her. But
Oh,
I
God.
will. There's a whole other serving. I will. I'll make sure.
But you probably could have eaten it. Like,
Yeah,
so
go
you're
ahead
probably
and eat it.
hungry enough.
Just go ahead.
Oh, I'm always hungry enough.
I'm gonna be the devil in your head. Go ahead.
Don't
and eat
do it.
Just go ahead
No,
and eat
I
it.
want her to enjoy it.
Do it.
No,
Do
I'll
it.
make my
Do it.
own though.
Do it.
No, don't do that. I will not
All
do
right.
that. Then I'll feel like shit.
If you want to make complaints to Scott about his teriyaki quinoa bowl,
So good though. I can tell you about it.
what's your social media?
At Scott Tavlin, SCOTTT.
I eat my girlfriend's food.
Oh, no, it's too soon, Miguel. Miguel, we're not there yet.
I thought you wanted me to have the whole thing.
I know. Oh.
Holly, what's your social media?
Radio Holly. I'm not going to make any jokes because it's too soon. Radio Holly on Insta and Twitter and TikTok.
Wait, I got one more.
What?
No, I'm kidding. At Miguel Fuller on Instagram, TikTok, all the places. If you want some Miguel and Holly stickers, shoot me an email with your address, miguel@hot1015tampabay.com. And don't forget, tickets are still on sale now for Miguel and Holly Live.
We want to see you at the Ritz and Ybor on October 21st.
Absolutely, especially for our Platypus Posse members.
Yeah.
We want to see you there at the Ritz and Ybor October 21st, a Thursday night. Tickets are on sale now, hot1015tampabay.com. So coming up this week, we have a guy we're talking to on Wednesday about, was it cryptocurrency, Holly?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's right. I'm so glad you said that. There's a guy that messaged, because remember I was talking about my new Venmo credit card, which I got in the mail this weekend.
Oh,
good.
snap.
It's pink. And so when I get, you get like cashback rewards on credit cards. When I get those cashback rewards, they get immediately turned into cryptocurrency. And I was trying to like explain how it works from my own very rudimentary knowledge of how it works, basically based on a Venmo email.
Yeah.
And this guy was listening and he was like, I can come on and kind of explain it. And we were like, yes.
Let's do it.
Oh dear.
So we're gonna do that on Wednesday, and I want to try to see if we can get Stacy on. It's been a minute since we've chatted with her because I know she has a new podcast, our Medium friend.
She's been going through it though. I just want to let you know she's been going through some stuff. I think the podcast may be on hold.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But I do think that she would love to maybe do a past life reading, or not past life, like get in touch with someone's possibly deceased members of their family.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll connect with her between now and Wednesday. And then on Wednesday's show, we'll let you know if you can email us to be on with her on Friday's show.
Right.
All right. We will talk to you later. Bye.